For my signature assignment, I chose to talk about my future career as the California Superintendent of Education, including the emotional strengths, leadership skills, motivations, role models, implementations of empathy and advocacy, and noble goals I will use to be successful in this role. When I am the California Superintendent of Education, I will be working in the field of political science. Luckily, I can identify many emotional strengths that will help me to succeed in my career. After taking a test that assessed my emotional intelligence, results showed that my greatest emotional strengths were in the realm of self-awareness, motivation, and empathy. In my future career path, my self-awareness, or ability to understand my emotional and behavioral responses in different situations, will help me to create just, equitable practices in education by helping me to recognize any unconscious biases I hold. Uncovering implicit biases are important to my future work because I will be advocating for all parents, students, and teachers in California public schools, helping to create the state curriculum, and much more. If I am not able to use self-awareness in this role, I risk creating an inequitable system of education for certain groups of people within the public school system. Motivation is pertinent to this career path as well. According to D'Souza, motivation is a drive that originates from within oneself. Taking on the role of the California Superintendent of Education means going through the election process, which involves putting a great deal of time, energy, and resources into campaigning. Only with a high level of motivation will I be able to run a consistent, successful campaign, allowing me to win office. Additionally, empathy will be important as I pursue this career in political science both through the election process and once I am in office. Empathy is the act of putting yourself in someone else's shoes. Being able to respect and understand the diverse cultures and backgrounds of my constituents will help me to gain their trust as I campaign and effectively implement policies that support their physical and emotional needs once I am in office. Lastly, a bonus strength that I hold is my extroverted personality, which will come in handy when I am tasked with addressing large crowds and meeting new people as a public figure. As the California Superintendent, I will be working for my state's Department of Education. With this in mind, one leadership skill that I will need to use will be my ability to resonate with both those above and below me. I will be working amongst other political scientists, as well as working to help other students, teachers, and families involved in the public school system. In other words, I have a very diverse audience to appeal to. Gaining the trust and respect of fellow politicians and educators may mean writing effective policies, being punctual, and working with integrity and grace. Gaining the trust and respect of my K-12 students may involve more focus on being engaging, kind, creative, and being stylish as well. Being able to showcase different parts of my personality to different groups of people will help me to better resonate and gain the trust of those I am working for and with. As an educational leader, I will also need to be able to use data to duplicate the successes found in the education system for my students and schools. According to Mata, data can be rooted more in comparison and less in identifying which students are succeeding and which are failing. Some data I will be looking at as the California Superintendent of Education will be student and school assessment performances, the achievement gap, and graduation rates. Instead of simply looking at this data and rewarding those who show high student and teacher success rates, I can use this data to further understand what is making these people successful. Once I do this, I can allocate sufficient funds to underperforming schools and write a curriculum that will help to promote equity and success for everyone within the California public school system. There are many things that are motivating me to pursue a future as the California Superintendent of Education. D'Souza explains that identifying your purpose, passions, and values when thinking about the future can help motivate you to achieve your long-term goals and reach your highest potential. I know that in the future, I want to help create a system of education that ensures that all students have access to an equitable, qualitative education. I value the public education system and am passionate about giving every kid the opportunity to succeed within this system despite their personal culture. By understanding my purpose, passions, and values, I am able to better identify what steps I can take to reach my overall goal of becoming an amazing state superintendent. For example, I will teach in a K-12 classroom before becoming the California Superintendent, so I will better understand the curriculum and the needs of my students when implementing new educational policies for them. I also motivate myself to reach my goal of becoming the superintendent by reading news articles about educational systems around the world. The basis of intrinsic motivation is to seek out things that engross us, that lift our mood by absorbing our focus and attention. I find articles about different systems of education, such as Finland's, to be so interesting and inspiring. When I read these articles, they not only help to lift my mood, but they spark creativity in terms of the types of policies I can create one day to give my future students the best chance possible to succeed. This leads to my third motivation for pursuing this career, my dissatisfaction with the current education system in the United States. According to D'Souza, desire depends on 3 elements: dissatisfaction with the status quo, vision for the future, and practical steps to enact change. Currently, I am not impressed with how our public officials have handled creating public school policies. Many of the people who write policies for education have never even taught in a classroom. My vision would be to further involve classroom teachers in the creation of the curriculum to create a more equitable, just system. By getting my education degree and becoming the California Superintendent of Education, I can involve more teachers in this process by asking high-performing school districts to nominate teachers to help write the curriculum. My desire to make this change motivates me to further pursue a career in politics and as the California State Superintendent. I can identify many great political scientists who have made an impact on my education, including Malala Yousafzai, John B. King Jr., and Mark Takana. Malala is an educational activist from Pakistan who made her mark on the world in 2012 when she was shot for disobeying the law put in place by the Taliban, which stated that girls in Malala's town could not attend school. Malala inspires me because of her fearless, abundant devotion to education and women's rights. Even after this attack in 2012, she continued to fight for women's education rights and has raised over $20 million to provide girls all over the world with 12 years of free, safe, quality education. Today, she holds a degree in politics from Oxford University. The next role model I can identify in my chosen track of political science is John B. King Jr. Mr. King was the 10th United States Educational Secretary under the Obama administration from 2016 to 2017, and has not only earned his single-subject teaching credential, but studied law and politics at Harvard. I am inspired by John B. King Jr. because of his dedication to helping underprivileged students in American public and charter schools succeed at the same rate as their more privileged classmates. King stated, "We must have the courage to hold ourselves accountable for student success. Without accountability, standards are meaningless and equity is a charade." A third political scientist who inspires me is U.S. House Representative Mark Takano. Representative Takano serves on both the House Education and Labor Committee as well as the Veterans Affairs Committee in Congress, and is the first openly gay person of color in Congress. Representative Takano inspires me because he has worked to implement educational reform from the perspectives of both an educator and a politician. Before serving as an elected official, Mr. Takano was a tenured high school teacher in Riverside, California, where he confronted the challenges of our public education system daily. It was after he had served as a public school teacher that he ran for office and secured a seat on the House Education and Labor Committee. I find this truly inspiring because many of the administrators and politicians who write the policies and laws regarding public education have never taught in a public school setting before. Some policymakers have never even been to public school themselves. I want to follow in Representative Takano's footsteps and gain experience teaching in a public school setting before I secure a job as the California Superintendent of Education. According to D'Souza, empathy is the ability to recognize and appropriately respond to other people's emotions. It forms the fabric of enduring and trusting relationships. Having empathy as the California Superintendent of Education will help me to both gain the trust of the general public during my campaign, as well as make the right decisions for them once I am creating new policies in office. Implementing empathy during my campaigning process will involve treating my constituents as equals. As a candidate running for election, I will need a majority of California citizens to vote me into office. One way I can increase the likelihood of this is by personally going door to door in my community and campaigning for my election. By personally speaking to my constituents and building a personal rapport with them, I am sending my community a message that I am their equal, which is a common empathy response. This could help me secure more votes because people often want to vote for people who are just like them into office. Once I've been elected, empathy will be even more important to my work because I will be making decisions for a diverse group of people who have not had the same privileges and opportunities that I have. Implementing empathy into the decisions I make while overseeing the curriculum and policies implemented into the public school curriculum will help me to create an equitable system in which every student is able to succeed no matter their circumstances, because empathy is the act of recognizing the position that people around you are in. Using empathy within my track will further allow me to advocate for the people I work for as well. Advocacy is not just about throwing money at a problem and hoping for a solution. It involves creative thinking and hard work from leaders and followers alike. For example, one group I want to advocate for in my future career is public school teachers. The role of teachers has been highly deprofessionalized in America, which is reflected in their pay as well as how little they get a say in state and district curriculum standards. While I do want to give teachers the pay rate they deserve, truly advocating for them means I will have to do more than that. I want a teacher's role in the educational system to reflect the hard work they put into working alongside our students every day, getting a college degree, and obtaining a teaching credential. Some ways I can make this happen include creating more opportunities for tenured teachers to help administrators set curriculum standards and allocating more funds to help teachers buy materials for their classroom. Lastly, I want to talk about my noble goals as I pursue a track in political science, hoping to one day become the California Superintendent of Education. A noble goal is a statement of intent that marshals the wisdom and passion within oneself to put our emotional intelligence into action. The two noble goals I am most excited to work towards in my future track are to make sure that all children have equal opportunities to succeed in and outside of the classroom, and to create an equitable and just system of education that allows students, teachers, and families to grow and learn to their highest potential. I can identify both of these statements as noble goals because they combine my purpose for pursuing a track in political science, which is to create a quality system of education in the United States, and my passion of working with kids, as well as helping to create opportunities for them and their families. D'Souza explains that combining purpose with a passion can teach us to strive and pursue our noble goals. I know that although these are big goals and will take a lot of work and motivation to achieve, I have the power to make them happen because they involve the things that I am most passionate about and the things that give me purpose in life. Recognizing my strengths and areas of growth and emotional intelligence was the first step in recognizing and achieving the noble goals displayed above. In order to stay on track with pursuing these goals, I plan to continue to grow my skills in empathy, motivation, and self-awareness, hoping to one day become the California Superintendent of Education and successfully creating change for those involved in the public education system. Thank you.